I was recently in Chicago for about a week, and I stayed on the Magnificent Mile. One of the tourist spots for the Mag Mile is the Starbucks Reserve Roastery, which is currently the largest Starbucks in the entire world. It first opened back in 2019, boasting 5 floors with a curved escalator and a roof terrace view of the Magnificent Mile. So in this video, I'll be giving you an in-depth tour of all the floors, as well as some tips and tricks to maximize your experience. So I did go during the winter when it was a little bit less crowded, less of a touristy season, but boy, it still got pretty packed during the day. When you first walk through the doors, you'll probably be greeted with somebody standing there welcome you to the largest Starbucks in the world. There you can also pick up their quick guide of the whole layout of all their floors and what you can expect, and take your pick in front of their very iconic flip board. This first floor is primarily for the quick grab and go drinks and food, a little bit more handy for the locals, so there's no seating whatsoever here. Half of the floor is really just behind the scenes of coffee creation artifacts and processes and machines, while the other half is mostly for souvenirs. They have an assortment of merchandise as well as coffee beans for you to buy. If you didn't want to buy their prepackaged beans, you can also select your own quantities, maybe get a few ounces of every type. You can do so at their bean counter. If you want to head on up to their second floor, the most iconic touristly way to do so is to step onto their curved spiral escalator. They do only have one of these, so it only goes up. So if you needed to go back down, you can either take the elevators or you have to take the stairs on the other side of the building. Now, the second floor is mainly known for their baked goods, from pizzas to pastries, you name it. They have a very large selection of food here, which are made fresh every day in these wood-burning ovens. But you can also still order certain drinks, and actually each floor has its own menu, which you can scan its QR code, and I will leave the link to it in the description if you guys are interested in planning ahead. But this floor has plenty of seating, as you can see here. When I came during the day, this place was pretty much packed. There is some seating at the bar where they're making the drinks right there, plus seating more suitable for groups that can even overlook the street view, which is really nice with their bright open windows. Or you can choose to overlook the center, which is completely open from the first to the fourth floor. Moving up to the third floor, this is the floor mainly for curated drinks. Again, they have a whole separate menu here, so you can check it out in the link in the description. They still have the regular bar seating around the ordering area, but I noticed that most of the other seating is a lot closer to the ground, so this is a good floor probably for families or those with small children. They do provide high chairs if you need it, and you can lounge by the fire if you manage to snag that spot. Then the fourth floor is more geared towards the 21 plus, with cocktails as well as mocktails and a full-on bar. There's also a section for some more merch if you wanted to pick something up then. Again, besides the bar, there's plenty of other seating that you can still overlook the Mag Mile to maybe pull out your laptop to work a little bit or to chill with friends. And finally, the fifth floor is the roof terrace, which can be accessible via the stairs to the right here, as well as one of the elevators. But depending on when you come, it may actually be locked. So I actually came here twice. The first time, the whole floor was just blocked off because it was for a reserved event. And then the second time, I came very late in the day, close to their closing time, and they had already locked doors. I did ask the employees if there was a certain time frame that they usually close the roof terrace, and they couldn't give me a good answer. They basically just said whenever management feels like closing it off, that's when they will close it off. So you may want to call ahead to make sure that it's accessible when you come if you really want to check out the roof. So this is what it does look like if you do manage to get it when it is unlocked. Unfortunately, the last day I came was a rainy day, but you get the idea here. There is a little bit of outdoor seating here, so I can assume that you can also work here and also take in the views, take in the outside fresh air while you're enjoying a beverage or a snack. So I did visit this place a few times during my stay here, during the day and also during the evening, so I have a few tips for y'all. First of all, they do have something called their signature cocktail experiences, which is a little bit expensive, but if you have a group that's really a coffee fanatic and you want to make the most of your experience here, then that might be something you may be worth looking into. It's a session where you can learn about how to create cocktails and sample different coffee cocktails. And as I previously mentioned, there's a possibility that certain spaces and even entire floors can be reserved. So if you want to maximize your experience, you may want to call ahead or maybe just plan to come back multiple times. Somehow I got super unlucky, and not only did I come during times when floors were entirely blocked off, but also when the cover escalator was down for maintenance. And they told me that this is something they do annually, probably around the mid-January time frame, so keep that in mind. And if you're curious about what the restroom situation is like, there are a few unisex individual roomed restrooms on every single floor, plus an exterior sink that you can just wash your hands with and also dry with this latest Dyson technology. The pro tip if you come during a busy time is definitely to go to the uppermost floors, like the 4th floor, to use them because less people tend to be there. Another tip is if you're someone like me who is pretty frugal, but you still want a little souvenir of your visit here, but you find all the merchandise is pretty expensive and overpriced, well, what you can do is just buy a cold drink to go. So it'll come in this pretty nice cup that will say Starbucks Reserve Roastery on it, and you can just keep that. It's made out of pretty thick plastic. And if you do decide to order a drink, definitely try to get something that you can't get anywhere else. Also, they don't make frappuccinos, so don't bother asking for that. So what are my overall thoughts about the Starbucks Reserve Roastery in Chicago? Is it worth your time? Well, I think it's a pretty neat tourist spot. I mean, it is the biggest Starbucks in the entire world. I think there are a lot of cool design features of just the architecture of this building that warrants a quick visit anyways, even if you're not a coffee fanatic. To me, it's just more like an upscale Starbucks, so, a bigger store, more seating, fancier seating, maybe more expensive drinks, a wider variety of food, a buzzer ordering system because there tends to be just a lot of people ordering. For here, drinks come in a mug, but at the end of the day, it's just still a Starbucks. You still earn stars for your purchases here in the app, and to my eye, the drinks still pretty much get prepared the exact same way as other Starbucks. So I would just come here more for a bucket list experience. Definitely don't think it's worth fighting the crowds to work out of here, even though I have to say those window views are pretty magnificent. If you like this video, please let me know by smashing that like button. I do have more Chicago videos in store, so definitely get subscribed if you aren't already. Thanks for watching.